Hey, this is ASpengler, and this is episode 1 of building the Cologne Cathedral in Lego. And so, this is a new building segment that I'm going to be doing over, I don't know, probably the next year, probably leading up to the next Brick World Chicago 2019. So I'll plan or target to try to get this done by next summer. So we got about 9 or so months then to get started on it and try to get it finished. So the plan is going to be to try to get the cathedral itself finished first. And so here I got a bunch of the base plates from St. Lo and that I've just kind of collected over the years. So I'm not totally sure how big this is going to be, so like one of the first steps in this segment is going to be kind of laying them all out and then mapping out kind of the space that the cathedral itself will take place. And so once I kind of get the cathedral mapped out, then I can figure out how much extra space I have to include the surrounding city. Because I want to try, the main thing I'm going to try to build for this is the cathedral itself. But in World War II, there was a pretty semi-famous tank battle that occurred like right in front of the cathedral. There was a panther just about, so if we have the city laid out like right about in front of the cathedral, there was the panther. Right down the street from the panther there was a Sherman. The panther knocked out the lead Sherman, and so the Americans were kind of halted at that street area, so they had a Pershing come up on a parallel street. So we got the street with the Sherman, and then a little, like a one building down, there was a street with a Pershing that came up, and it outflanked the panther that was up here and hit it in the side. So for sure we're gonna get the cathedral, and then right in front we'll have the panther. But we'll see after how much space the cathedral itself takes up if we can include some of the other streets with the Sherman and the Pershing. And so that kind of leaves me to do a project of getting a panther for this build. So I'm not going to use this one because I'm pretty sure that the panther that was in front of the cathedral didn't have any camo on it. So I'll just have a different panther than this that's just kind of the plain gray. And if any of you know like what color, or if it did have a camouflage, you could let me know and then I'll try to get that. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't like this sort of camouflage if it did have one. So there was a few modifications I was going to make to this panther design, but it's going to be somewhat similar to this one and probably in just the standard gray. So that's the one thing. I'm not sure if it was an M4A3 Sherman. It might have been an EZ8. So I'll see if I need to modify my Sherman. And I don't have a Pershing built yet, but I'll try to make one of those. I'll probably just sit down and just do some trial and error, make a custom one, just so it looks a little bit, and it suits the custom cathedral, or not custom cathedral, but the cathedral. And just, I've been trying to do more custom vehicles, so I'll probably just make that at some point also. And so with that, I've done a lot of talking. We'll want to get right into the building, so I'm going to start off. I'll kind of map the area out for you guys first, and then we'll come back, check that out, and hopefully by the end of this video we'll get to a little bit of the starting the structural part. So there's not going to be too much of that. It's just kind of going to be like one layer, so it's not just flimsy base plate. So I'll stop talking for now, go ahead, map it out, come back and show you guys what's been happening. Okay guys, coming back after what may not look like a lot of work, but this sort of planning stuff does actually take a lot longer than you think, just because of the scale of buildings of this size. If you mess something up, or if you scale too big or scale too small and then you start building, then you'll end up having to start over. So I really wanted to make sure I got the right scale for the cathedral, and so it won't be like too big, too many pieces. and stuff like that. So I kind of started off with just a paper diagram of the cathedral's layout, and then I built a little Lego structure over that to kind of get myself a mini scale of the model, little structural thing. And then I basically experimented with a bunch of different scales. So I first started off having one stud width on this equaling 7, and that ended up being like this 3 gray base plates plus maybe 2 more, so like 8, or not 8, 5. So it would have taken up like this whole space, and I'm like, that's a little bit too big for what I was doing. So then I scaled it down to 4, and that was probably closer to something like this, so a little bit less than what I have here. And this is 5. One stud equals 5 studs on the larger scale, so that ended up being a little bit better. It kind of looks a little small in the front. I don't know if any of you have seen the cathedral. When you look at the front, it's just ginormous right in the beginning of it. And so this is going to be the front right here. And so you know there's those big towers in the beginning, or the front of the structure of the building. And those are just huge and give it a really large presence. So I thought they'd be larger, at least this front area would be larger. But I guess looking at the layout and then kind of just scaling it up, I guess this is how large it is. And then if I scale up the front too large, then the back gets way too big and I won't have enough parts for that. So I kind of just settled in the middle. It's a good balance, because when I scaled it up to 4, it was just way too small. Especially if I put like the panther in the front, it would be like a lot bigger. So I'm definitely scaled this down a little bit when I make it. Again, that panther is a little bit too big for this, and so this seemed like the best scale. It's a little bit bigger than Eder Castle. Once we get building, it's probably not gonna be as like ginormous in certain spots. Like the back isn't as large as the front, so I should have enough pieces from Eder Castle. The back probably will only go to like this height or so, and the front's gonna go really tall, but it's got a good mix of just like this side's not as big and this side's just pretty big, so I should have enough for that. And so this is kind of the scale that I settled on, and it's 3 large gray base plates by 2 large gray base plates, so that's gonna take up quite a bit of space, so that's why I don't have anything here. But we'll probably start with this area, building that up first, and then I just left this area open for just in case if we have more time or whatever and stuff, I have more pieces. I think I'm gonna try to make the tank battle, so we'll first start to cut it off here and build that way. But then this is kind of extra. I don't actually have enough space. Like you can see, these ones are kind of up, they're not laying flat on the table just because they don't quite fit on this space up here. So that's gonna be an issue if I try to build it all at the same time. So I'll have to cut it up into segments. I'm gonna make sure I make the cathedral able to be taken off in probably a bunch of sections for the buildings that can go in a box. And then I'll have this whole area divide up into 3 sections. And then so we'll have this area, in case we have time and extra parts, we'll leave this to last. And this can be cut up into 3 sections as well. But here's kind of what I was thinking. We'll have the panther was in the front area in front of the cathedral. There's a road that went down this way, which the Sherman was coming up, and then there was also a road going down this way, which the Pershing was. And in real life, in the actual city, the Pershing probably would have been way farther that way, and the Sherman would have been way farther that way. But I guess we'll kind of just scale it down, the whole tank battle, just so we can kind of include it. I'll probably move the panther a little bit closer to the cathedral, so we can include the Pershing in here, so it'll be like right on the edge of the town here, or the build, right on the edge of the build. And then we'll have like the first Sherman getting blown up, and then there's a building like right here. There's some buildings in between, so there'd be like one right there, one right here, probably one right on the edge area right here. And so it wouldn't be too much, because the buildings were really destroyed, so there wouldn't be too much more structures to make. And I think it would be nice just to be able to get the tanks in, so you could kind of get a better feel for like the battle that took place. So that's kind of the plan. It's a lot of information to give you guys. I'm sorry that there wasn't very much building that really happened, but like when you're planning for something this big, it does take a lot of planning. And so that'll probably be it for this segment. Next segment we'll get right into starting on these, or this section here. We'll wait to do the tank section for, I don't know, probably a while. I don't know if we'll get to it, but we'll definitely start on the cathedral area. We'll get the structure built up, and then we'll start planning out the building itself. So we'll get right into the building. Depending on when the building or the cathedral gets done, then we'll see how much we can do on the front area. So with that, sorry again that I didn't get more stuff done in this segment, but definitely look forward to more stuff happening next week. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.